announced his endorsement or his campaign in Dubai. And so we put together a breakfast for him, and we had about 8 or 9 of us here. Most of those folks are here tonight. And I even sent a press release to Deborah McCown, I've got a copy of it here, to the Bristol Herald Courier, wondering if she could cover it. And she was busy, her schedule wouldn't allow for it that day. And it was quite early. This is dated October 8th, I think, when I sent that press release.
Was that October 8th, 2009?
2009, exactly. Let's see. Yeah, October 8th. And then the next time that I saw Mr. Heaton, we had a nice breakfast. There was a lot of actually enthusiasm for him. He sounded conservative, and he sounded like he would be somebody that we should consider supporting. So we were all pretty upbeat after that meeting. Then the next thing that happened was that we never heard from him again. And I can quite honestly say that the first time I saw Mr. Heaton again was at the 10th Amendment meeting on September 7th when he came to answer questions. And some people that responded to the newspaper article today, one gentleman, I guess, was in the crowd that night, and commented that we had been rude to Mr. Heaton. I take issue with that because I feel like what the Tea Party wants is access to our candidates, access to our representatives. We want to be heard. And I simply asked Mr. Heaton that night why we never heard from him again. And his response to me was that he couldn't afford a full-time staff like his opponents. And there were several emails that came from this group. There was an invitation to the 10th Amendment first anniversary dinner. They were ignored. So the other thing that was asked that evening was, and it was very innocent, I just heard that Mr. Heaton had the endorsement of the Independent Green Party. I asked the question. I felt like it was important. His response was, actually he kind of brushed it off and said that is a party that just likes to cause trouble for candidates. Okay, I accepted that. I didn't know any different. So we accepted that, and he moved right along. So imagine my surprise when Deborah McCown called and said that Mr. Heaton wouldn't be participating. And I decided these dots need to be connected. I started looking online, and come to find out, Mr. Heaton had been invited to the, on today's date, in Washington, D.C. He was invited to, he would be representing Virginia leadership of the Independent Green Party for a rally that has the mission of drafting Michael Bloomberg for president. So I don't know if this represented a scheduling conflict, but at any rate, you can take that as it is. So with this information that I'm sharing with you, also I have an email here. The next time, the only other occasion other than at our 10th Amendment meeting, when I had any correspondence regarding Mr. Heaton, it was from a supporter of his soliciting campaign donations and convincing me that we should get behind the guy. And my response to him was, are you sure he's running? I hosted a breakfast for him a few months ago and promptly never heard from him again after repeated invitations. We thought he had dropped out. He was enthusiastically received, but I gotta say his follow-through wasn't inspiring. I've sent these emails to 3 different newspapers today, and to Dick Morris, who I had the pleasure of meeting in person last Saturday. So make of it what you will, but I'd like to know the real story here, because I'm not happy with the way that the Tea Party is being accused of being anyone's flunky. This certainly should prove that we had a real interest in the independent candidate. So with that said, this week has been a big week because a lot of our different groups have had their members wanting to get behind Mr. Griffith. And we have really taken some time to explore that this week, and I'll tell you what we came up with. I'm pretty happy about it. We talked to Mr. Griffith the other day, and this is what we came up with. The Tea Party Patriots of Southwest Virginia pledge to support Morgan Griffith as their 9th District candidate for Congress in acceptance of his vow, it's a two-way street, to diligently work to cut the size of government, to uphold the 10th Amendment, states' rights, and sovereignty, to defund and repeal the health care bill, to promise fiscal conservatism as it applies to Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution by levying no new taxes, to pledge to work to secure, defend, and protect our borders. On number 6, I really wasn't sure if Mr. Griffith would go for this because, you know, it was, I didn't know how he would feel about it, but I'm very pleased to say that he has pledged to co-sponsor and support H.R. 450, the Enumerated Powers Act. And that's very important to many of us Tea Party people because that simply reinforces the fact that any new law needs to have a constitutional basis.
Yes.
And finally, this is the only change that Morgan Griffith made. Finally, he pledges to grant access for meeting with Tea Party Patriot leaders as necessary and appropriate. I had originally phrased it as access to Southwest Virginia Tea Party Patriots, and he said that we don't need to limit it to Southwest Virginia Tea Party Patriots. Mr. Griffith is pledging to give access, which is sweet words for me because I've been chasing Rick Boucher around a lot this season, and he will not talk to me. And you know, it was a lot like getting sent to the principal's office in 4th grade to be told that you will be out of order if you ask me a question. So I didn't take that very well. And that is what we came up with, and we have representation from the Wytheville Tea Party that's here to sign this agreement with Mr. Griffith. You come on up, we're going to do it right now. The Wytheville Tea Party representative, Mr. Harrell, are you here? Or Mr. Lewis? I'm not sure. Okay, all right, here's Mr. Harrell. I'm here. Brian Rick couldn't be here tonight for Bristol, but I'm here for Abingdon, Bristol. Pulaski, Dublin, we have Jeannie Zunick here somewhere, I believe. The Jeffersonville Tea Party is from Tazewell. We've got Diane Altizer here. And Galax Fancy Gap, we have Ted Revis. And we have you, Mr. Griffith. And do we have a pen?
Yes. We got one that's delicate.
Now, while they're coming up to say this, I noticed that we had a number of Tea Party people here. The Tea Party and the 10th Amendment Foundation are two entirely different groups. The 10th Amendment Foundation is a 501c3 organization which makes donations to us tax deductible, but it also means that we cannot and will not, under any circumstances, endorse any candidate. The Tea Party people have done what they've done. I didn't know anything about it. There was no coordination whatsoever. And this is strictly their doing. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm simply saying that the 10th Amendment Foundation had nothing to do with it.
Mr. Ruther, if I can, this is where we can't see completely out there, but it appears to me in the shadows that I can see from up here with the bright lights in my eyes, if I'm not mistaken, Annie B. Crockett Stark, Delegate Stark is here, and I just want to say hello.
We also have Wise County Tea Party representative here too, so y'all come on up and we'll sign.
Maybe you ought to put it at the table with everybody around you for those photos.
Okay, like that idea.
One other thing, while they're doing that, we were going to have a closing statement, but I think the way things have gone that we probably would just be stretching things out. I will tell you all, and I hope nobody takes offense, but I'm a minister myself. And before you all go, because you came here and were so nice to come and such a good audience, I'd like to give a blessing, if I may. The Lord bless us. May the Lord bless us and keep us. May the Lord make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon us and watch us as we go home tonight and give us faith and hope and love and strength and courage to know and to do his will. Amen.
Amen, brother.
I want to thank all that came tonight, and make sure you please pick up all trash and everything. We want to leave this place cleaner than we found it, okay? All right, thank you so much.